perversely, Australia's growth and the big increase in Australia's exports to China post-GFC have perversely been hooked in to actually poor economic policy in China. The rapid expansion of investment, the rapid expansion of credit that fueled that, and the concentration of that in steel and resource-intensive industries has meant we've benefited enormously, but you can look at it as having benefited from policies which perhaps were not that well configured, even though the immediate effect was to stop China's growth rate falling below 8%. So that's a thought to consider when you're looking out in the medium term. It's easy to talk about rebalancing the economy, and particularly an economy like China's, much more difficult to do so, particularly when China itself limits the number of instruments it has at its disposal. In particular, I think the biggest impediment in driving rapid structural adjustment is the exchange rate. Now, whatever the proper value of the renminbi might be, and that's not really an issue I want to address, a major instrument of economic policy is heavily constrained. It's limited in the amount of work it can do in driving structural change. The 12th five-year plan has as its headline number a 7% annual growth rate. That compares to the 11th five-year plan, which had 7.5% as its headline growth number. The point is that I would think about these numbers as being floors rather than ceilings. So we could expect growth over the course of the plan, averaging out the business cycles to be well above 7%. But it's also a message, particularly to provincial and municipal governments, that the central government in Beijing is looking for an easing in the rate of growth, and your performance assessment, if you're a provincial party secretary or provincial mayor or city mayor, will not necessarily only be on achieving maximum rates of growth. Having said that, recently we've had the National People's Congress in China, where all the provincial party secretaries and governors and mayors come to Beijing, and I use that as a time to network like Chinese network and have people around for lunch and dinner every day of the week, including Sundays, in order to meet as many of these people as I can. And I can tell you, out of half a dozen, 8 or 10 I guess I've met over the past week, not one has talked about growing at 7%. In fact, everyone's saying, oh, we're going to grow 14, 13, whatever. I said, well, what about the 7% target in the plan that's just been agreed? Oh, but that's for other provinces. We are a special case. So enforcement application at the level where it really matters is a big gap between central government intention and what actually happens on the ground.